Welcome to the Cooking Up Joy Show. I'm your host, Alicia Madeline, Grief to Gratitude chef and founder of Roots and Returns. Here we use the power of food, stories, and traditions to heal, reconnect, and rediscover joy. Today's episode is the joy of strength, love, loss, and finding strength in caregiving. Today, we're finding joy in the strength it takes to care for those we love. Caregiving, defined as the act of providing unpaid assistance and support to family members or friends who are aging, ill, or differently abled, is one of life's most profound acts of love. But it's also one of its greatest challenges. It's a journey filled with sacrifice, bittersweet moments, and sometimes unexpected sweetness. And caregiving is more important now than ever. Did you know that by 2030, all baby boomers will be over the age of 65, making seniors one of the fastest growing populations in the United States? This means more families, more than ever, will be stepping into caregiving roles, navigating the complexities of love, loss, and resilience. Joining me today is my best friend, Maurice Gunter. Hi, Maurice.
Hey Alicia, how are you?
Good, good, good. Now, y'all, Maurice's story of caregiving, resilience, and love is both heartwarming, heartbreaking, and inspiring. Together, we'll explore how food, like his very favorite dessert, pound cake, helps him find comfort, connection, and love during his journey of caregiving and loss. Maurice is a realtor, an avid cook, griller, an Air Forceman, a man who loves life, and his life is forever changed by stepping into the role of caregiver for his family. This episode of the Cooking Up Joy Show dives into the bittersweet reality of caregiving as we explore the sacrifices, challenges, and moments of love that define this journey. Together, we'll reflect on the strength it takes to care for loved ones, the lessons grief teaches us, and how food can help us to find sweetness even in life's most difficult moments. Now, today, our dessert is Maurice's very favorite pound cake. Each of us has the classic pound cake dessert next to us. This is a dessert that's more than a treat. It's a symbol of resilience and connection. As we baked this dessert, we've taken the time to reflect together on how food can provide comfort during difficult times and serve as a bridge to the memories of those we've lost. Maurice, tell me, how you doing? How's your day?
My day is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Got off work, had some crawfish for dinner.
Good food.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you're able to join me today.
I'm very happy that I'm able to join you today and get to talk about caregiving and the world of caregiving. It's definitely a life-changing event in your life.
Yeah. Well, as we kick things off and before we dive too deep in, we've got a cocktail. So all of you know we have our dessert and we pair it with a cocktail. The cocktail and the dessert are usually inspired by my guest, and today is no different. This cocktail is called the Crowned Strength. Now, Maurice and I have started sipping a little bit, so we did make ours ahead of time. But let me tell you a little bit more about it. So we're going to do a toast, Maurice, if that's okay with you. Toast to the strength of caregivers everywhere with this very bold cocktail, the
Yes.
Crown Strength. This drink does combine smooth richness of Crown Royal. Which Crown Royal did you use, Maurice?
So I use Crown Royal XO.
And that's your favorite, right?
This is my favorite. Yes. So smooth.
Now, we also have some maple syrup. Got maple syrup. We've got cinnamon bitters, a big old ice cube, and a squeeze of orange that do lots of things. I mean, we want to really match the strength of this episode, the sweetness of caregiving, and just that all around love and warmth that we get from the folks that we're caring for. So let's have a toast. So, Maurice, hold your glass up with me. Cheers to the caregivers who show us what love truly means. Cheers, friend.
Cheers. Cheers.
How is it?
It's amazing. It's really good. Nice bold flavors.
Right, right. Now, Maurice showed you his pound cake. Here's mine. So, along our conversation, Maurice, feel free to say eat and sip and eat, or and pour if you want.
I can't wait to dig in.
And we'll go for a slice too.
Mm.
It's really good
This
together.
is
We're going to dive into our table conversation. Now, as we reflect on both Maurice's caregiving journey, the sacrifices, challenges, and moments of love and how food, especially pound cake, became a source of comfort and connection to find joy in small moments. So, Maurice, if it's okay with you, I'm going to start with a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So one of my favorite memories of your dad is when he would make moonshine. I don't think he was making it specifically for me, but it made me feel like it was for me. And you'd bring it all the way up from Alabama, and you always had a bottle. And I don't know that I've met him. Maybe we only met him a couple of times, but that always really stuck out to me. And so I remember him just being a really calm dude, chill dude, but a strong presence. And so as we jump into this conversation, can you tell us about your dad? What was he like? How did he shape who you are? Any special fun facts about him?
Yeah, so dad was exactly how you described him, very, very strong, very strong, physically strong and like emotionally strong. He's the backbone of my family. And he was the backbone of our family as a whole because my grandfather died when I was really young. So he was the like male of the family. So he was very stronghold of our family. And so he was just very strong. That's just the word. That's where his military. My dad was our baseball coach for the church when we were growing up. His booster club father, when we were in school. He's just all around dad. He was in the military. He was a cop in the military, which is what geared me towards the military to be a cop. When I was in the military, he and I both, when I was in high school, were volunteer firemen. So when I turned, I think it was 15, I was able to be a volunteer fireman in Alabama. So we were both volunteer firemen together until I graduated high school. So we were like inseparable, actually. Even very young, he taught me how to drive. I was the one who learned how to drive when I was like 10.
Good old
So
country boy.
right. That was it. My dad was just very chill. How you describe him, chilled and laid back, was exactly who he was. He was very, very cool, calm, collected guy. It was fun to be around because he was going to make you laugh and always had a joke to say, always very fun, but he was a protector. You weren't going to bother him or anybody that he loved. He was going to protect them. So that's who he was.
I love that. He was a man of few words, but you knew that he was in charge and he was the boss. So when in thinking about your dad and who he was and who he had always been to you, what was it like stepping into the caregiver role for your dad?
So it was the easiest decision I made.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would have it no other way, because he would have done it for me. So I would have it no other way and I would do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even on the backside with all that has gone on, I would have it no other way because he would have done it for me 1,000 times over. So
That's beautiful. What now, how many siblings do you have and where are you in the lineup?
So there are 5 of us in total biological. I am 4 of 5.
Oh, you're almost a baby. I don't think I realized that. I think I thought you were one of the oldest.
No, I'm next to the baby. All
No
them jokers.
way. But you take care of like the whole family sometimes. I mean, I don't know. We're recording this. I don't know if you can say that, but
Yeah. Oh, I can. They know. They know. Yeah, but, my oldest brother, he lives in Alabama. The next oldest brother, James, passed away. Then my brother Eric is in California, me, and then Henry.
the baby.
He lives in Alabama also. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we didn't tell folks that where you're from. Tell us where you're from.
So we're from rural West Alabama, small town called Demopolis. Well, outside of Demopolis, Galleon, in the middle of nowhere. Literally,
Galleon.
Galleon.
Now that's news to me. I always tell people Demopolis. So you're not even from Demopolis.
I'm from a little four-way intersection.
Now where was I? Where did I go when I went to your dad's homegoing?
So we buried my dad in Greensboro,
Okay. And how far is that
mhm,
from home?
about 17 miles north of Galleon.
Okay. Because I know somewhere I went when we were driving down there, there was a point because we got lost and we were late. There was a point that we were like on this dirt road because we went to the church. We left out of the church and I think went straight or forward. I mean, straight or right. And we're like down this dirt road and yeah. And we called this old man and he was like, you gotta do is go up to the this and then turn to the that. And I was like, sir, we we're not from here. We need street names. He didn't give us.
No, you could have just given him my name or you could have given my dad's name.
That would have
and they
made
know my dad 100%.
yeah. Well, thank you for answering that. No, tell me, what role has food played in your journey of grief and healing?
So interesting enough, and it was hitting me today when I was looking over the stuff you sent me, and I was like, I actually started baking pound cakes
Hmm.
during this process. There was a stage in there, and I must have baked 15 pound cakes. It was at a point to where things had gotten really rough. Dad was battling dementia, 2 types of dementia and cancer, and things had gotten a little rough, and one of my brothers had moved out, and the other brother wasn't where I wanted him to be with help. And so it was just a little rough there, and we were still battling COVID at the time, and, all I could do was to turn to food, and it was like, "Okay, well, I like cake. Dad likes cake. Bake this pound cake."
Yeah. That's interesting, especially for a couple of reasons. You mentioned dementia. I talked with my cousin Taylor last week. His mom is going through early onset dementia,
I
and
didn't
yeah, and his favorite cake is vanilla pound cake, but you just said you were baking all these cakes, and one thing you knew that your dad liked was cake. It's like despite whatever memory was happening in that moment, you guys had that connection.
And so when you're battling dementia, food is one of the things that sticks around and
Mm,
music sticks around. So sometimes what they like may change, but it'll come back. And so like dad liked cake. He always liked cake. He was always a dessert person. He liked ice cream and cake and ice cream and cake and ice cream and cake. And so I was just like, okay, well, I'll bake cake. And so we would go through like a cake a week, you know? Because
okay.
we were eating cake and I was gaining weight and he was gaining weight, but the goal was to get him to gain weight because he was rapidly losing weight because he was battling cancer
Mm,
and the dementia was causing him to not want to eat. So what he would eat, it was like eat in excess to
mhm.
put the weight back on. So yeah, we were literally baking cake
Wow.
and I learned to make icing.
No, did you not make icing before? Why not?
Never did. Never knew how. Never even cared.
Mm.
Never even cared.
Is it because he wanted it though?
Nope.
Just
Stress relief.
yeah. There's something there's something that happens, I feel like when you're in the kitchen and you're baking and you're just moving your hands and doing things, it can be calming.
Mhm.
Now, I know that you've lost your dad a couple years ago, but you've also lost your mom. You lost her when you
Mhm.
were much, much younger. Do you feel open
Yes.
telling us about her?
Yeah, absolutely. My mom was strong like my dad, very, very strong like my dad. They were pretty much just alike. She
Mhm,
was strong. She was a mental health worker. She taught reading in schools for a number of years between Perry and Hale County, teaching children how to read. She was big in church. She died in church speaking. She managed the youth department for almost 20 years. That was her thing, was giving back to the community. She did that till the moment she took her last breath, was giving back to the community. And her whole thing was around food also. My mother was the one that gathered you for,
mm,
So if mama said, everybody show up because we having dinner, everybody showed up. And it was just like when my grandmother passed, her mother, if mama said we all kind of having Christmas dinner somewhere, everybody in the family knew they kind of had to come through for Christmas dinner at some point because she kind of stood in like Big Mama when grandma passed because she was really the one that held the glue of the family together afterwards. And we joke about it. Even at my church, we joke about it because after she passed, the church really changed. The dynamic of the church changed drastically because she was not the church mother, but she held so many pieces together
mm,
and things just kind of went different ways, not down, but just
mhm.
different.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting that these people are the glue, and you don't realize it, because 'cause you're just in your day to day, going
Yeah.
about life, but they like, really are the glue. They're the glue that keeps everything, everyone together, and then they have this, like, historical context. They know where the batteries are, like, they know where
Yeah.
things are, and they take it on because they want to or no one else would do it, I don't know, but that's incredible. Makes me wonder both about your mom and your dad. What are some lessons that you've learned from them that you carry with you today?
So, from both parents, I learned to withstand the storm.
Mm.
You know, when it is storming
Gotta sit with that for a
outside,
second.
yeah,
Okay. All right. The storm.
when it is storming outside, don't worry about the storm. It's gonna be all right. The storm has to pass.
Yeah.
The storm has to pass. So, and I've learned to withstand the storm. No matter how rough it gets, no matter how bad things look, the storm has to pass. So there has to be sunshine on the other side of the storm. So it's gonna pass. And so that's what I tend to look for is the sunshine. I know it's coming, so and keep pushing.
That and has that been true
It
for
is
all
very,
the storms? Yeah.
it's very true, and then I learned
Mm.
to have faith that God will provide,
Mm.
and no matter what, God provides. It may not appear in the moment that God is doing anything, but to trust.
Yeah.
Trust that He will provide and trust the process that He provides, And I hope this don't sound, I hope you don't have to cut this out. But I ain't talking about white God either. I'm talking about black.
Okay, Black Jesus.
I'm talking about black Jesus that He
Okay.
gonna provide, like He looking out for us and just understanding that the higher power looks out.
Yeah. So I appreciate that so much. I think that there are times in life when things get really, really hard. And that's what the
Mhm,
show is all about. I mean, it's called the Cooking Up Joy Show because it's not to be dismissive that things are easy, there's always joy, because it's not. Life can really, really stink. And also, it's about our perspective.
mhm,
It's like, so we have a choice and how we see things. Thank you for sharing that. And I wonder with this question that because your parents, you lost them at different times,
mhm.
um, but are there memories of them that you keep alive today?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like for my mother's holiday was Christmas. Now, I'm not a big Christmas person. Not a big Christmas person. No, I'm not a big Christmas person. My mother used to decorate the house. Oh, all these Christmas things around. Oh my God. Every holiday, though. She had eggs swinging from trees for Easter, hearts for Valentine's Day, little flags for 4th of July. Oh, every single holiday she had some, but Christmas was her particular holiday. But she enjoyed Thanksgiving more. She liked Christmas because it represented Jesus's birthday.
Okay.
So she liked that, and she liked that people sing and stuff like that. She liked that all coming together. But Thanksgiving she liked because it brought family together.
Mm.
And so that she really, really liked, and she would take her time and prepare a meal, and she took her time to sit down and just really prepare things for that holiday, and it meant a lot to her for people to get together for Thanksgiving, and so I always try to do something for Thanksgiving, do something big for Thanksgiving. Whether it's I'm with family or whether I take a trip or something, I do something in memory of her for Thanksgiving. Now, my dad's day is a little different. He likes a barbecue. That
Okay.
was his thing. Anytime you can pull a grill out, you represent my dad because
Yeah.
he liked to barbecue. That was his thing. Get up under the tree and barbecue and just have a good time. He wanted to sit back, talk trash, and have a great time. And that helps me to remember him and just keep his spirit around.
I can
Just,
imagine him talking trash.
him
Oh,
and my
yeah.
uncle. Him and my
Really?
uncle Martin. Yes, yes, yes. They sat under the tree, 4th of July. On the 3rd of July, they would start barbecuing at like 9 o'clock at night. And them two would sit under the tree with a cooler of beer. And my mother would say, the hog barbecuing itself because you two ain't doing nothing but drinking and talking. Ain't nobody checking on it. They would be out there laughing and talking and blues playing and having a good time, and we were allowed to be up all night because we were running back and forth, laughing and talking with them, and it was just a great time, and those are memories. And, watching those 2 barbecue, and we were tasting it, and the smells that were coming from out there because we had hog on the grill, chicken and beef barbecue, and my mother was cooking everything you could think of in the kitchen. And so all those different aromas, and it just brings back memories. Now when I go home, it's like, child, ain't nobody there. Everybody in the cemetery. I guess I go up here with a Lunchable.
See that, but I appreciate you bringing it up because that's really kind of where this episode comes from. When we were, I don't know if I talked to you the day after Easter or what it was, but I said to you, like, what plans do you have for Easter? Or what did you do for Easter? Something like that.
Mhm.
So maybe somebody asked you that. If somebody asked you, what do you got
Some
planned?
kind of way we got on the topic.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
said something like you told the person, like, "Everybody did." And it stopped me in my tracks because I think at this big old age, as I've just been losing family, what feels like left and right, and I think a lot of us are, but I think that might it also I'm like, is it normal for this age? But all in all, that was hard for me to hear that. Like, it made me feel like you were alone, and so I
Sometimes you do feel alone though, right? Sometimes you feel alone because there is no one that replaces the love of a mother or a father. There's no one that's gonna hug you like your mother. There's no one that's gonna hug you like your father ever in life. You can have friends and you can have godparents that are gonna always stand in the gap. They're gonna be there for you, but you'll never have that hug again. You'll never have that I love you again. You'll never have that kiss again. You'll never have that again.
yeah.
And that can feel very lonely. There are times now that I'm like, oh my God, I need to pick up the phone, call my mother because I want to talk about this. God, 22 years later,
Uh,
I still am like, oh my God, I need to have this conversation with
yeah.
her. Because it's like there are just certain things that she would be like, ooh, child. That would be her on the phone, like, ooh, child, you done got yourself in the best. All right, now this is what we're gonna do to get out of it. Woo! Don't you go get this though. That's how she was.
Do
That's
you,
how she
now how has I guess both of them, how have they shaped who you are today?
so they've just taught me to be stronger. My parents taught me to work hard,
Okay.
work hard. And losing my mother at a young age taught me to cherish life. And then watching my father, who died at a young age, 69, when he started with dementia in his early 60s.
Yeah.
So watching my father die has taught me to cherish every moment of life because it's so precious. I lost a brother in his 30s. So it's like cherish every moment of life. Cherish it. Live it like it's the last day you got because it could very well be.
It could very well.
My mother retired on Friday and died on Sunday. How
Mm.
crazy is that? How crazy is that? You work your whole life for retirement and you get 2 days, the weekend, and then the Lord call you home. Girl, Lord, I need to go back. Now I put in 20 some years. Now you gonna give me a week.
You gonna give me
A job give you 7 days. But yeah, so they taught me to enjoy life, to cherish life, to enjoy the small things. Sometimes I think we forget to enjoy the small things
yeah,
because we're so busy enjoying the big things and looking for the big things, but we forget to enjoy the small things. Having someone to wake up next to and just simply knowing that they're there and they actually love you. They
yeah.
actually care about you. Someone to stand in the rain with. I think about the scene from, oh gosh, what's that movie? Oh, Lord, now I can't think of the movie. But the lady, she's standing out there, her husband got a baby on her. He was working in some factory and they were standing out there and she was mad. And he was brought the baby home because the woman died at birth with the baby. So he had to bring the baby home
I
to
don't know
his
that
wife.
movie.
Oh, girl, it's a good movie. Anyway, she
Yeah.
told him, she said, what do you think? She said, I've been standing out here all these years right next to you. He said,
Mm.
I've been standing right next to you. You don't think I had dreams? You don't think I had aspirations? She said, but I put mine on hold to stand next to you while you completed yours. So
Yeah.
I think one of the most beautiful things in life is to be able to stand next to someone and know that the person you're standing next to loves you,
Yeah.
and in that love, you both grow. So I think you should cherish that when you find that you cherish.
That's one of the lessons that I often talk about that my grandmother said is, "Give me my flowers now." What's the point of showering
Right.
flowers when I'm gone? I ain't gonna see them. And she's like, "I wanna smell them. I wanna smell them now." And that has always, always stuck with me. Now, curious, what's a lesson that grief has taught you about yourself?
Grief has taught me that I do need help at times.
You do everything on your own, so that's interesting.
Grief has taught me that because were points where there were points where I was so overwhelmed,
Mm.
in post my father passed and just in everything that I didn't ask for help when I should have asked for help. And so I ended up getting professional help when I could have probably picked up the phone and called a friend to say, "Hey, I need to talk." And I held some things in that should not have been held in.
Okay.
And I let some things ball up and I just became angry with people that I didn't tell them I didn't tell them the whole picture. I didn't give people the whole. No one knew that I lost everything. No one knew what I was going through. No one knew the hell I was sitting in the middle of. No one knew because I never opened my mouth and said, "Child, I'm over here on the sun cooking, honey. I am 4th of July on the grill." Oh, roasting. No one knew. So I had to stop being angry at people who were in my presence right in front of me that saw me every day and did not help me. I had to stop being angry with them. And I had to realize that I didn't ask them.
Tell me more about you had to stop being angry, which meant you were angry.
And I was very angry with them. I should have asked for help. That
Okay.
would have helped me in my process, grieving and getting some things off my chest about the caregiving process. I did not. It got so bad that I ended up going into therapy to deal with it when
Mhm.
I could have had conversations along the way that would have fixed some things opposed to blowing up on people and just having big ordeals when small conversations to get these things off my chest would have worked and to explain how I was feeling and what I was going through along the way worked. So grief has taught me that I should have asked for help, that I can ask for help.
So with that in mind, what's a piece of advice or even wisdom that you could share with others who are navigating caring for loved ones?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. In the midst of caregiving, don't be afraid to ask for help and don't be afraid to take a break.
Now, what does a break look like? Because I specifically remember there were times when you were like, Dad has to go to like you took him to the day center and then and then there maybe somebody came to the house. I just
Mhm.
remember that you left Atlanta and then you were you I think that's probably I think pandemic was a time when we all thought like things would be temporary and things
Right.
were temporary. And so
Nope.
I thought you going home was gonna be temporary and then you'd come back. And you didn't come back.
I thought I was going temporary too.
Yeah.
So what happened is I went there and I thought it was temporary.
Yeah.
And then my stepmother died and
And she
became
was your
very.
dad's caretaker?
Yes. So
Okay.
it became very permanent very quick.
Mm,
And I never figured out what I was doing. It just kept happening. Life just kept happening. So 3 or 4 months in when I thought I had a grip of it, then cancer came. And I was like, oh God, now we got cancer and we got dementia. Then like 5 months into that, okay, I think I got cancer figured out. Then boom, another type of dementia is now showing up. Oh God. And so it was like, okay, now we're just battling, battling, battling. Now cancer's back in a different, my God, it's like every 6 months, something is changing.
mhm.
So it was like you could never, ever get back.
Get back what you can never get back that just that line alone is huge, and it makes me think about just overall caregiving. How has it shaped your perspective on life, on family, on resilience?
It has literally it has definitely put a strain on family
Okay.
because, in the process of caregiving, I wanted help in a manner that I don't think others knew how to care. And I think people thought that I got an instruction manual on how to caregive,
Okay.
and that ain't what I got.
This is when the pastor start the musicians start playing in church.
Right. I didn't get a caregiver's manual. I
Yeah.
got trial by fire.
Yeah.
And so I think everyone thought, well, you know how to do this. Well, I don't know how to do this. I literally was on vacation and got a call from my stepmother saying that, hey, I'm sick with COVID. Your dad is sick with COVID. "We're not feeling well." I said, "I'll be on the next thing smoking from DR."
Yeah.
And I came home and literally I didn't get to see her. She was so sick, she had to leave and leave my dad in the home alone because she was so sick, she had to get to the hospital.
Why did she call you?
She called me because my other brothers weren't there. You know, and I was the one that was coming back and forth all the time caring for them anyway. So my
Mm.
other brother, one was in California, the other two was in North Alabama. So honestly, I was the closest one. It was closer for me to drive 4 hours from Atlanta than for them to come like four from North Alabama. And I was the one that was always going home like every 2 weeks. I was back and forth there. So I had a key already to the house. I was just familiar with how things ran in the house. So she called me because she knew I would know how to come step in and just keep the pieces rolling. She had one daughter that was kind of like the me for my dad. Her daughter was her person. So her daughter and I kind of talked about what things look like. All right, if your mom comes out the hospital and she needs long term care, this is what we're going to do, blah, 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 blah. 11 days later, she died. So it was just like, what? We didn't talk about this. This is not what we talked about.
No.
And so from there, it was just like, okay. And I never discussed with my siblings what was going to happen. So one got on a plane, went back to California. The other two went back to Huntsville.
Yeah.
Then I was at the house with dad. And then they came back from Huntsville and moved in, and
And
no
that
real roles were discussed. Like I was just the one carrying. And, like, so they started kind of picking up the slack and helping some, but, it kind of grew thin. So, and I will say they helped, but
yeah, I get it. Um, so that's huge. Attaboy to you for doing all those things, without being asked, like, just picking it up, like, just picking up, "This needs to be done, so I'm gonna do it." What it feels like there's a lesson in there, so I'm curious, like, what's a lesson that caregiving and grief have taught you about yourself?
that you're able to do whatever comes your way.
Yeah.
You can do it. Like, you can do it. Caregiving is hard. It is hard. There are times when I didn't sleep for 48 hours because my father with dementia, they go on these binges where they don't sleep. Yes. And so they will remain up and fully active for periods of time.
Wow. And so you gotta be up through all of that because 'cause you're the caretaker.
And this is an adult, not a child.
Yeah.
And so they have adult strength.
Yeah. Who's taking care of the caretaker?
No one's, well, generally the caretaker dies before the
Wow,
caretaker's under so much stress.
that's a lot of stress. It's interesting that you said that because my grandmother, Laura, and my great-grandmother, Elise, who I talk about all the time on these shows, my great-grandmother was taking care of my grandmother, and she was going through colon cancer. My great-grandmother had no issues. My Elise was, perfectly fine. My uncle would drop her off every morning, and she'd stay with my grandma all through the night. But when my grandmother died, my great-grandmother died 4 months later, and, I mean, they couldn't find a thing. It was like the broken heart that she
Mhm,
died of. But it that's interesting because there's a lot that goes into taking care of these adult loved ones.
mhm,
Yeah. So that with all that you done for your father, with all that you've done for your father
mhm,
and your stepmom, because for a time, I mean, you came, you served, and you were supporting her, and then and other family members who passed on. Like, how do you honor them? How do you honor your parents now? Are there any like traditions or rituals that you kept up?
I just keep my head up. As the waves of life come, you learn to swim.
Yeah.
You learn to swim, and when you can't swim, you tread water,
Mm.
but you don't let the wave take you out.
You got all the
Keep going, girl, you keep going, you keep going, you never stop. You keep going.